Aloha everyone, Joshua Hayes at BigWaveTrading.com. Today it's Monday, so we're just going to go over the winners and losers from Monday's session. Now, I qualify winners and losers based on stocks that make outside their normal ATR moves during the session. So while you'll see MNK here today with an 8% loss that I am long from back here, currently have around a 12% gain on my remaining position, it is still not what I would consider an outside losing stock because it's well within the range of its average true range. So keep that in mind. Also, I want to make sure everybody realizes I trade like a robot on an end-of-day basis. I am able to hold many stocks on an end-of-day basis if they're working, and I simply tier my stops higher and or cut my losses immediately when I am wrong, and redeploy that capital into new signals until there are no more signals. And trust me, there are periods in the market where I don't get signals. From this moment in October to December, we average about 1 to 2 signals per day on average, with a full 5 days in a row during this period here at some point, 5 days in a row of 0 signals. So it's always market dependent. So by me getting this many signals right now and having this many winning positions, it's telling us that we're in a good market. Do we need to pull back? Absolutely. I would love to see us fill this gap in between 10.10, 10.11, or pull back to the 50-day moving average. But heck, this market's really strong. It's not going to do that. So with that being said, make sure you read the description page. I tell you exactly how I want new traders to handle their account, i.e. 10 stocks. 10% of your capital per position, never lose more than 1% of your total capital per trade. So with that being said, what were today's losers for me? CCXI. This was the signal date. I got filled on Friday, right? That would have been Friday. Today, hit my final cut loss level. There is no other green bop level on this chart. So my final good to cancel sell stop level was 947. That took that out today, and it also closed below this day's low a day, officially ending the trade on the end of day basis. So on a closing basis, this was the big loser, CCXI. Since the long position, what is the total loss? I always round up the losers, -7%. What is another loser from today's session? Whoops, wrong one. Not long that stock at all. Do like playing it intraday. AKRX. It is closing. Confirmation close below the 20-day moving average and the recent support low here. So it is technically a 50% end of day sell signal. Remember, I am long from all the way back here. I had 50% of my stops here. And as of right now, my final stop on the entire position is 1 cent below the 1017 low a day. So that's a 50% end of day sell signal. This was an outlier move today. It's still a 60% gain since the original signal. That's how we love to see things go at Big Wave Trading. Now, the real loser, the big one, DLTH. I liked DLTH because it had a high short float, so I kind of had high hopes that DLTH would work. It was also part of, it's an apparel store company, and earnings weren't out to December 12th, so I really thought that with a 23% short float on FinViz, we could see some squeeze. So this is what the signal date looked like. The good to cancel buy stop limit orders at 985. It triggered and filled the very next day on Friday, but look at what it did. Big intraday reversal. Volume wasn't heavier, but it lost its green bop. That's an automatic red flag to me, so I immediately moved 50% of my stops to 1 cent below Friday's low a day. The rest of the stops were here, here, and here. So I had trailing stops. Now, you could have used an uptrend line, like I always try to teach new traders, connects all those recent lows, and as soon as you put a stop right below that uptrend line, and had you done that, you would have been out of DLTH right around the 930 level and would have avoided these losses. But with DLTH closing at that level, let me actually check. I think it ran all my stops. I'm typing it in at Interactive Brokers. It missed one stop, the stop at 876. So this stop was not hit, the final one. That being said, that to me is splitting hairs with today's low a day. So I will keep 876 as my final stop. But technically the rule is this is a 100% end of day sell signal, just like CCXI, you would move your final stop to 884 on DLTH. But DLTH, that was the worst one. CCXI, the next one. What was the combined loss on DLTH? Adding up the 2 days, rounding up, 8%. So we have an 8% loser in DLTH. We have a, what was that again? 7% loser in CCXI. And with our other loser, we had a 60% gain. That's what we love to see. Now let's take a look at the winners from Monday session. GNC just continues to step up. Since the signal date, GNC is now up 39% in a very short amount of time. Just beautiful. Once again, if you have a big position, you can draw an uptrend line, which to me is the slope is way too aggressive. But this is something you could do if you just want to only be in winners and get out as soon as they reverse. But GNC, 39% move in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a little about right around 2.5 weeks. DCPH continues to work higher. As you can see, since the new long signal, we have a 19% plus gain in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in about 2 weeks on DCPH. STKL, you're all familiar with this one, keeps marching higher. 77% gain in STKL in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 3+ weeks. IDN, nice. This was our signal day. I believe I reviewed that this weekend for everyone. We now have a 26% gain in less than 1 month on IDN. I love it. KRMD, this was the signal date. This is when we got filled. Tried to shake me out. It came damn close because that was my part of my language. That was the final cut loss level right there, but still it held. KRMD, 16% gain in under a month. I round down for my winners when I report them to basically factor in slippage, and I round up on my losers to factor in that slippage. In an era of $0 commissions, I pay $1 at Interactive Brokers. You can pay $0 at E-Trade, Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, Fidelity, and use this methodology and just cut your losses at break even on anything that doesn't work immediately. And these are the kind of gains you can enjoy when they work out. INMD, you should be very familiar with this one. We've gone over it over and over. 64% gain in under a month. INMD, heavy short float, just like GNC, DCPH. These are the stocks that I love. FULC, this was the long signal back here. This was actually the long signal right here. So this session right here was the long signal. It gapped up on me. It never came in and came back up to trigger on my end, and or whenever it did, I wasn't paying attention. But on this day right here, I got finally filled on FULC. It's been a steady trender since the signal date, which is this day right here, October 25th, 33% gain in under a month. I love it. Remember, and I'm tiering my stops on the way up because I'm putting the minimum I put in any position is over a few grand, and I only pay $1 in commissions, so I don't fear being tight with stops, especially when we have a market that just melts up higher in a V-shaped manner on low volume. It's not going to take much for a big reversal. AEHR, big gain today, but overall hasn't really improved that much on the last move, but hopefully this is the beginning of a move higher because the volume surge today, massive. It's biggest volume surge since this gap up day. That volume surge is coming with us holding those levels from back here, so it's building on the momentum. Hopefully it turns into something, but either way, this was the signal date, the trigger, AEHR, only a 10% gain, but hopefully it builds on it. What I wanted to show you is why I'm disciplined with my stops. When it got this yellow bop here, I had 50% of my stops here. The final 50% right here, it's basically splitting hairs overall, but it held and it worked out. This is why I never just panic out of anything, and I give stocks room to work when they want to work. And today's biggest winner, XPEL, recommended not that others do not follow me into this trade. It did not have a high short float, and earnings were on 8/11, but I took a chance with this chart because it was in my perfect speculator scan. The previous uptrend was on huge volume, and it consolidated very quietly, and on a weekly, I got tall volume bars and open candles, and it looked very constructive. I gave it a shot, didn't know if it would fill, but it did fill. The very next session held, didn't hit any of my stops. My final and only stop was right there. I mean, it's tight, 1037, because those earnings are coming up. Well, fortunately, everything worked in my favor. After it filled, I immediately set 50% profit target with a good to cancel sell stop or a sell limit at 1320. That price level was hit today, intraday, so I'm out of 50% of XPEL at 1320. So it was right around a 25% gain. Holding the rest, what I now have on this stock, 50% of my trailing stops, 1 cent below today's low a day. The final stop is right there. And then the only other thing I want to go over before I end this video, ALGT was the public new long signal. You see the white arrow here? That means it triggered and filled. Now initially, when it traded up and through 169.90 and triggered at 168.91, 168.91, it did not fill on my end. But I wanted to get fully invested here just because I got too many good looking charts. So I kept it on the books. It pulled back in. I can't remember if I got it. I'll tell you when it what time it was when it filled. ALGT 168.91, 5:11 a.m. Maui time, so 10:11 a.m. New York Stock Exchange Standard Time. So that's when it filled. Either way, don't know if I got it back up and through the price or back in, but I got filled. ALGT is working. I am not raising any stops. For now, for right now, I have 50% right there, the final 50% right there. But if you're a new trader and if you go into these positions in size, you know the drill with the uptrend lines. There is your uptrend line, a close below the uptrend line. You will just go ahead and bounce out of ALGT and wait for the new long signal. All right, everyone. Great luck in your personal trading on Tuesday. The whole point of these videos that I make is that you will never be able to make the kind of gains intraday because stocks like NXTC, whenever they move like this, 248%, I used to get like early signals, like this could be considered an early signal, but I would never buy a stock that looks like this because of all the red in it on my end. But I used to get great signals like this back in the day, and 2 days later, bam, there's my 248% gain in 2 days. Nowadays, everything happens intraday. So that's why I'm like today, my focus this morning and all day long basically was TRNX and 2 over-the-counter bulletin board stocks, AXAS and DVAC. But TRNX was the main focus. Look at that move intraday. By the close, gave it all back. So that's why I still focus intraday. But the whole point of this, I see way too many people trying to day trade for a living that have full-time jobs. What are you guys doing? At BigWaveTrading.com, I tell you exactly where your good to cancel buy stop limit order should be. You place that order at your broker, and if it triggers, and you're long. And you can cut your loss at break even and enjoy some of the gains that you're seeing in these video lessons. But the whole point is, you can have a full-time job. Heck, you could have 2, 3 jobs and still do this methodology and outperform the market with very little work because you have to do your due diligence. You have to figure out which of the one out of however many long signals I have is the names you want to get long. I can't tell you that. I'm not a licensed professional where I have my Series 65, Series 7, this is what you should buy, this is what you should sell. So you have to make that ultimate final decision on your end, but I let you know every day exactly what I'm doing by where I'm getting in and where my stops are if it triggers and fills. And you can just go about your life. If it's work all day, play all day, doesn't matter. I do all the work for you. But that's the power of this methodology, everyone. All right, have a great evening. See you in the chat room if you're a member on Tuesday. Aloha.